The ancient Earth was unstable and fierce. Volcanoes filled the sky with smoke and fire. Valleys lay under heavy mist each morning. The land was raw, untamed, and alive with danger. The dinosaurs moved in herds across the open plains. Their massive bodies shook the ground with every step. Icy predators lurked at the edges of the forest. Their cries echoed like thunder through the valleys. To us amid this world, a small human family struggled to live. They found shelter within a narrow cave. There the father stood tall, holding a stone spear. His eyes searched the shadows for threats and prey. Theresu, the mother, carried a woven basket in her hands. She gathered roots and berries with quiet care. The grandfather leaned on his wooden staff. His scars told the story of years of survival. The grandmother studied leaves and fruit by touch. Her knowledge of plants was the family's safeguard. As at night, the family gathered around the fire. Flames offered warmth, light, and a fragile hope. There the forest surrounded them, dense and alive. Strange cries echoed from creatures hidden in the dark. The father and grandfather bent low to the ground. Tracks in the soil revealed both food and danger. To us, every footprint told a story of survival. Some meant a chance for food, others meant death nearby. As the mother tested fruit with care and patience, one mistake could end the fragile balance of life. A knowledge passed by word and gesture each day. Memory alone preserved the wisdom of survival. And the ground shook with the weight of herds. Triceratops moved across valleys like living thunder. Their horns were sharp and their armor strong. Silence was the only way to remain unseen. Thus the family stayed hidden in the shadows. Patience was the shield that kept them alive. So every sound in the forest carried meaning. The family listened carefully to the voice of the land. A sudden silence of insects warned of danger. Something unseen was moving through the trees. There the storm clouds gathered fast above the valley. Lightning tore the sky and rain turned paths to rivers. The cave became their refuge from the storm. Yet even there the earth trembled and water rushed past. From the storm came a massive shadow. Tyrannosaurus Rex stepped into the clearing with power. Its roar split the night like thunder. Its steps cracked the earth beneath its weight. The father raised his spear without fear, but he knew it was small against such a beast. The mother held the grandmother close to her side. The grandfather lifted his staff with steady hands. For a moment they seemed only prey, yet together they stood firm against the storm. Now the darkness passed and the storm ended. The predator moved on into the shadows of the forest. Thanks to the family survived another day in the wild. Courage and unity became their greatest strength. Ice mist rose slowly from the valley floor. Sunlight returned and the forest breathed again. A herd of Brachiosaurus appeared at dawn. Their necks reached higher than the tallest trees. First, they pulled leaves from the canopy above. Each movement was slow and peaceful. So the grandmother placed fruit on the ground in silence. One giant bent low and accepted the gift. For the first time, humans and giants shared peace. Not all who walked the earth were enemies. When the father lowered his spear with relief, the mother sighed as tension left her chest. The grandfather's eyes shone with awe and wonder. Survival was more than resistance, it was coexistence. First, they knew the sharp edge of fear, but they also carried the strength of hope. First, they were not strong in body compared to beasts, but their will was greater than teeth or claws. Their story began in shadows and danger, but it slowly moved toward light and safety. Then from cave to valley, they carried life forward. Each step added to the long journey of humanity. First, they faced predators that sought their end. They endured storms that shook the earth. Felicity returned to the valley once again, but danger never truly slept in this world. Therese' eyes glowed in the darkness outside the cave. Velociraptors circled with speed and cunning. They were fast and clever hunters. They moved together as one pack in silence. First, their claws scratched stone near the cave. Their growls blended with the rising wind. The earth spoke in storms and silence alike. The family listened closely to every sign. First, they lived between giants in constant fear. Yet they endured because they chose to stand together. The Earth Father raised a torch of fire in his hand. The flames glowed across his determined face. To us, the grandfather gripped his staff tightly. The mother lifted her axe ready to defend. To us, the raptors rushed forward with deadly speed. The family fought back with flame and noise. Time shadows jumped wildly across the walls. Sparks rose into the dark sky above the cave.
Get back, you beasts! Stay behind us!
The predators screamed and withdrew at last. Fire had once again saved the fragile family. Fire was more than want for the night. It was the first true weapon of humankind. Beat of dawn broke across the valley with light. Mist lifted slowly from the ground below. Triceratops walked calmly across the plain. Birds soared high over rivers and forests. While the family stood together at the cave mouth, small in body, strong in spirit and will. For us, the valley stretched wide beneath the rising sun. The family was a small part of its greatness. Yet their story carried weight and truth. It held the seed of all future humanity. They were fragile against the giants around them. But they adapted with each passing day. First, they lacked claws, armor, and speed. But they carried fire, memory, and unity. Khan's cooperation bound them closer each day. Their survival was born from working together. Because every day was fragile and uncertain. Every day lived was a hard-won victory. And the father carved figures deep into stone. Humans and animals were etched together forever. Here the mother and grandmother stood in silence. The grandfather leaned proudly on his staff. Tiny's eyes shone with memory of struggle and pride. The stone became their voice to the future. This was more than survival for the family. This was the first story told by human hands. Sarah's marks carved on stone carried meaning. They would remain long after the makers were gone.